And God's will is simple. The most wretched man in hell will not be Adolf Hitler. The most wretched man in hell, or woman, will not be one like Joe Stalin or some of these more modern devils. The most wretched person in hell will be a former Seventh-day Adventist.
Hello and welcome to SDAQ&A. I am your host for today, and my very special guest, Barb Tosti, is back. How are you, Barb?
Good.
So good to
Happy
have
to
you
be
on
here.
the show again.
Thank
And
you for having me.
it's a pleasure. And here we are, episode 599.
Wow.
I'm impressed with myself.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
congratulations. I can't believe that.
incredible. And and that there were by the way, those that want to watch season 1, I can't really afford to keep the podcast going, and that's the only place you can listen to season 1, so go and check it out on your favorite podcast platform. I will probably be taking it down and in about 4 weeks time. And the good news, though, I will be slowly uploading them onto YouTube. So YouTube will kind of be one of the probably the main place to host all the SDA Q&A content. Some of these platforms are just charge an arm and a leg just monthly,
Yeah.
just to keep hosting,
Yeah.
even though I'm not uploading new content. So it's a good season. The first 3 episodes are me interviewing Des Ford live. Sorry, not live, but interviewing him while he was alive. It's not kind of a posthumous discussion. It's he and I actually talking. And, the sad thing is he never got to hear the podcast. He came and did a program for us down here where I live. And I could not work out certain technological things. So it took me 2 years, and sadly in that time he'd passed away. So one of my regrets is that Des never got to
Yeah.
really engage while he was alive with those. Welcome everybody. Good to have a lot of people in the chat, and very keen to have our wonderful program today. I couldn't help myself. Barb has been doing these creative memes that have me laughing and thinking and horrified all at the same
Oh.
time sometimes. But Barb Tosti is not being meme. That's just that's one of that's a dad joke, that one. Yeah. So look, we'll get started on that. Someone did ask me a question, and I told them I would let them know today. They said, "How close am I to Ellen G. White's home?" And so I've actually Google Earthed it, took a little screenshot, and I thought I would show people. So can you still hear me, Barb?
Yes.
So the arrow up the top is pointing to my house. And then you can see this crossroad. Can you see the crossroads there?
Right.
So if I come out of my driveway and turn left and go up to walk up to the crossroads, that's like only a half a minute walk, and then cross the road and come down the road where that other little line and dot, that's Sunnyside. And Ellen White
Wow.
lived there from 1890, I think, to about 1900 or 1899. So I'm just a
That's
stone's
interesting.
throw away from there, and my parents live even closer. So the first arrow on the left there is their house. They can't go through the backyards of the other people there, but if they threw a stone, it'd probably 2 stone throws away, and the second arrow
Wow.
is where Sunnyside is. Now it's
That's
interesting. The Adventists own all the land behind there, and they've just put in a whole bunch of houses, and so her property is being diminished. But it's interesting
oh,
when you visit her home, and it's open every weekend for people to come and have a look. It's even by today's standards, it's a really nice home. So I imagine back in the day, over 100 years ago, it would have been considered a bit of a mansion in this town, and all the other houses along that street that are that age are all quite small. And here's this beautiful house on a big property with big trees, a big veranda. So when people kind of say that, oh, she lived a fairly meager existence, no, this was.
right.
And in that house, and part of the reason I wanted to share this today too is because we're talking a lot about Ellen White today.
Mhm.
Um, uh, Marion Davis was here with her during that time period,
Oh,
and
okay.
this is where Desire of Ages was written. And I've my friend next
Written.
door to me now. Literally, if I had this mug and I just threw it out the window, it would land in his yard. He has the original desk from Ellen White's house
Wow.
that she wrote Desire of Ages on. Now, when we say
Wow.
she wrote it, she
Yeah.
she would handwrite all this stuff, and then she'd clump it together and she'd say, Marion, come here. And Marion would come and write it all out. And unintentionally, I think initially she would also write out the things that Ellen had copied, and then
Right.
put it together in these beautiful works.
Yeah.
So you're no longer a Seventh-day Adventist.
Right.
Um, and I encourage people to go and check out our last interview. It was really interesting finding out all about your journey. But the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I was just, looking through Facebook as you do, and up popped a meme. Now, I don't remember which one it was. We'll come to those in a minute. But I just laughed and laughed. I thought, that is so clever. And then I looked,
Oh
who
no.
did that? And there's Barb's name. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh, this is a creative idea. But then the
Yeah.
next day there was another one or two, and the next day another two
I
or
remember
three,
that week.
and then there was a theme where you had these two little dogs in there as well, and then there was an
Yeah.
SDAQ&A one, and I thought, hey, this is so funny, but
Yeah.
funny and deep and mind-blowing, and I'm sure that you've had some pushback. Some people have said
Yeah.
that's offensive and all sorts of stuff. So I
It's
invited you
fine.
almost immediately. I wrote to you and said, "Look, please, can we do a show on these memes?" And so that's
Yeah.
what we're going to do today. But before
Yeah.
we start, just give us a brief for those who don't know you, and that not many in this community fall into that category. But just tell us a little bit about your journey, um, and also then tell us what prompted this creative outflow of meme
Oh.
creations.
I'm working out my creativity and humor with fear and trembling. I don't know.
Well, that was
I've
very
enjoyed
bold.
doing it.
Yeah.
It's fun. But yeah, no, I'm what, third generation SDA, went to the schools and Pathfinders, haystacks, potluck, vespers, all that, And Sabbath was, very important. But when I got older, I started, seeing things. I would question things and got so much pushback. Like
Mm,
my mom and I would butt heads all the time.
right.
So, it must have been something that I was thinking about for a long time. But what really happened was one night I was watching a Facebook reel, and it was, I'm pretty sure Cliff, what's his last name? It starts with a K, and I remember Cliff, the one that goes to college campuses and talks about
Oh,
the gospel. And
yes.
yeah, and he was in one of those reels, and he said the story of Adam and Eve, and he was like, "Well, Adam was with Eve," and I was like, "No, that's not what I was taught."
Yes.
And I watched it right before bed, and I went to bed, but I couldn't really sleep. And I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I went out to the dining room table, and I was like, I'm gonna prove them wrong. Adam was not with Eve. Eve wandered off. And then I read it, and I was like, oh, well, that's wrong. And then you can't, have any contradictions. You can't, go against the Bible. And I was like, well, if the first story, one of the first stories of the
Yeah.
Bible Ellen got wrong, what else did she get wrong? I didn't go back to sleep. I spent hours crying, just
Wow.
crying. I It was horrible. But like a couple of hours after, when things started cracking apart, I found Miles's channel, Answering Adventism, and the John Ankerberg show.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
watched it, and I watched it again and
Yeah.
again, because I was like, these people are lying.
Yes.
They're and I knew they were lying.
Yeah. Which
So
Ankerberg one was it? Do you remember? Was it with Des Ford or Walter Martin or Walter Ray?
Walter Martin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Boy, that one was so powerful. I
Yeah.
mentioned that I'd interviewed Des Ford for my first 3. He lived about 9 hours away from me, and the
Mhm.
whole trip there, I listened to the 3 Ankerberg shows, the one with him and Walter Ray, the one with uh, Walter Martin, and the one with Bill Johnson. I literally 9 hours back to back. I just couldn't
Yeah.
stop. I'd stop for fuel maybe and lunch, and then back, just go. I just really wanted to know that content before I interviewed Des. And
It brought a lot of people out of Adventism, that show.
yes, yeah,
It really did. I even reached out to the John Ankerberg show, and I was like, "You
mm,
guys need to do a 40th year anniversary, because
yeah,
that show helped so many people."
yeah.
But
Well,
nobody
I,
ever
I,
got
I
anything
reached
back.
out to them as well and said, could John come on the show? And the
Yeah.
secretary wrote back, and there was a bit of negotiations going on, but I think he's not too well, and
Oh, okay.
it seemed like they kind of backed off. Oh, just a quick correction here. Joy Butler writes, wrong spelling for Kurrambong. E.G. White lived there 1895 to 1901, and she loved
Oh,
it.
wow.
And it is only open on Saturdays from 3 to 5 p.m. Many visitors, well and sick. I'm not
Hmm.
sure about the spelling there. Did I? Is that? It's actually, I got it from a that location pointer. Oh, it is too.
Yeah.
Kurangbong, which I think was the original name. I think it was spelt. No, it was Kuranbung. That's right. Um, that particular that came on maps. So that's thank you, Joy. I appreciate one thing that Ellen did in the area was an incredible amount of charity work. There's a whole book about all the incredible things that she did. And so yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
just say she lived this life of opulence and um, plagiarism. She contributed to the area incredibly as well. She poured so much money into helping people with their plumbing and with buildings and leaks and all sorts of stuff. But I think sometimes people that are famous and have a lot of influence they do that, you know. So, but yeah, good on her. But you know, in other ways, I also think, well, all the good stuff you do, does that make people feel like they're beholding to you as well? You know,
Yeah.
people go, oh, that's amazing, she did all this stuff, and I think, yeah, okay, good, but also, okay, in some ways, if you do have a lot of money, you are beholding to share it around. If I don't know, anyway, that's a whole side tangent. Let's get back to this moment that you read about Eve, and to a lot of people, that would just seem like a small discrepancy. But when you have been raised to hold her in such high esteem,
Right.
and you read one or two little things, you suddenly go, it has a way bigger impact. And the first one to
Yeah.
me was about where Ellen talks about Satan going back up into heaven and an angel's passing by, and he asks to go and see Jesus or God, and says, God, will you forgive me? And I, when the person told me that never happened in the Bible, and I would have been 22 maybe when they told me that just blew me for six. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Whereas some people would go, oh, so what? But when you've been raised to treat her with such a hallowed,
Yeah.
kind of
Oh, I was talking
reverential.
about that today, you know.
Yeah.
I was
You're
that
asking for forgiveness.
11-year-old going, "Oh, she held up the big Bible."
Mm-hmm. Mm.
You know, Ellen did this, and yeah, no, I remember. I do.
Yeah.
That
And so
was
when you look at the Ankerberg show with Walter Martin, who had
mhm.
just written The White Lie, um, that's a really good interview to watch over and over as well, because he was painted as being, oh, you're just a very angry man, and it's an angry book. But the reality is, he, you think our generation held her up on a pedestal. His
Mhm.
generation worshipped her. She was
Yeah.
just the saying, that Ellen White says, and her testimonies. And so he was just in shock. And as he read page after page after page that she'd copied, I,
Right.
I don't mind at all when I read that book that it's a bit angry. I think, great, I get to feel what someone else was really feeling that I felt too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, just checking for comments coming through. Oh, yeah, Clifford Goldstein, I think, was the one you were
Oh,
mentioning before. Yeah, maybe.
yeah, okay.
Or
Sounds right.
George Knight, maybe.
I don't know.
Um,
Feel
and
bad. It was a
Ray.
traumatic night, so I wasn't,
Yes.
like, taking names.
Yeah. It just, yeah. And Ray Doherty writes, I have the newspaper article laying out the Damon trial as well. So I think he and I are going to do a show on that. So,
Really?
yeah, so that'll be fun. So when you started doing this creative outpouring, what kind of inspired that? Were you just dabbling around with one of
Oh,
the
well,
platforms, or?
I was on the forums and because I was like, I need to start learning how to say the gospel, you know.
Mm,
So I'm just gonna practice. Go to
yeah,
Facebook. I practice on Facebook just
yeah.
about everything. So I went to the forums and just started talking to people and then started seeing what other people were doing. And
Mm,
like, honestly, my Ellen White image, another person taught me how to do all of them. And I
mm,
lost contact with them and I'm a little bit worried. I pray about it.
yeah.
So oh, yes, this is my T-shirt.
Just bringing up your
Yes, from,
T-shirt there. Um,
BK Apologist. Yeah, he has a YouTube, channel also, but this is his storefront, I think, on TeePublic.
TeePublic. Oh, good. So it's
It
part
is
of
a
his.
great conversation starter out in the world.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Hey, what does your shirt mean?" And then you get, a little opportunity to share the good news and say, just be careful of the beacons with hospitals, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah. Yes. I'm going to order one of those later today.
Yeah,
So if you go
I
to
love them.
TeePublic and then just type in EGW heretic T-shirt, it comes up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we've all been having some fun with a lot of the
I think
the
there's more
AI
than just
stuff.
T-shirts too. I think there's like mugs and
Yeah,
all with
good.
that.
I'll get
So.
I'll get a mug like this with that on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. So we'll go to the memes now that you've been working on, and I'll just get you to chat about each one. How does that sound? And
Yeah.
those watching, keep the chat going. We appreciate that. And I'll occasionally refer to it as we can. Okay, so here we go. So I might put us down to the side so that we can maximize the screen. And over to you, Barb. What are
All
we
right.
seeing here?
Well, this is kind of, I don't know. This is what Adventism really is, I guess, at the root of it. They know the quotes and they know the contradictions, but they're going to protect Ellen. And they're really, I am trying to be very nice, but they're a doomsday cult. And they teach that,
Yeah.
well, that Catholics is going to have the mark of the beast and Sunday keepers are going to murder Adventists. And you're taught that, very young, that,
Mm,
Sunday keepers, your own family, if they keep Sunday, they're going to murder you someday.
yeah.
You're taught that, they're unclean, they eat pork, they look down on people, you're not even supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of like a superiority
Yeah.
and narcissistic, really.
It's
But they get
interesting.
themselves.
At this point, there will be Adventists writing now. That's not my
Oh,
Adventism.
I know. That's not my
What's your
Adventism. I
answer
know.
to that when people say that?
Oh, I mean, you just have to take them directly to their primary source documents and say,
Mm,
you sign the 28 fundamental beliefs and, this is what it says. This is what their church manual statement of confidence in her writings says.
mm,
They don't understand that they are, signing something that, they think that Ellen White is the spirit of prophecy. And it's just, they get trapped in the system. And the system just bleeds them dry. It's just set up like a pyramid scam or multi-level marketing, with their school system and their pathfinders and hospitals, ADRA, their fake food that they make. You can't read outside, you know, their books because everything else is from the devil. And I get that answer all the time. Even one of my memes, I, I wrote, "These are your source documents." And they're like, "No, the devil's hand is here." And I'm like, "These are your websites. This is EGW writings, No, the devil's hand is." I was like, what? So they'll deny their own primary sources because the cognitive distance is just staggering. They're bewitched. I do use the harsh language, and I do say that the 28 fundamental beliefs is a manifesto because that's what it is. And they have their double tithe stuff, and it's sad to me because I've seen it. I even saw when they started coming out with those satellite dishes, how expensive those satellite dishes were just for their. I don't think I can hear you if you're talking.
Sorry, I accidentally
I'm
bumped the
rambling
M
on.
for mute. No, no, no. I was just saying, and interesting with the baptismal certificates as well. They're even more intense than the 28 fundamentals. Yeah.
That's right. Somebody sent me one recently, and I was like, I was 11 when I signed this thing, so I didn't remember what was on it. So
Yeah,
I was blown away with what it says nowadays.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Barry Ford just writes,
Hey, Barry.
I just had some pork ribs for lunch to celebrate Ellen. How Ellen loved pork. And Ray added, Barry, wash it down with some oysters. Now that's very
Right.
sacrilegious, and we apologise if we're offending anybody today, but it's satire, and
Oh,
sometimes it's good to be offended, and just to ask yourself, why? What am I feeling right now? Why is this offending me? If people are feeling that way.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
in this picture here, where she's got the army helmet on, what are the
Mm,
words under that?
yeah. Oh, let me see. It says, first they silenced the critics, and I did not speak out because I was still Adventist. Then they marginalized the former members, and I did not speak out because I was still in good standing. Then they dismissed outside Christians as deceived, and I did not speak out because I had the truth. And then they questioned my loyalty, and there was no one left to speak for me. That one was hard. That was one of the harder ones.
Mm, mm,
I remember the conversation I was having online with somebody, and it just popped into my head, and I was like, yeah, I gotta make this one.
yeah, it's very
But
powerful.
it's one of my more controversial ones.
Mm,
So
mm,
yeah.
very
And the
powerful.
other one too, they think that, Big Brother is out to get them and Sunday keepers are gonna murder them. And
Yeah, and
so that's what it is.
when they say, "Oh, well, that's not my Adventism," the gospel
That's the great
folk,
controversy.
that might they are a way smaller percentage of Adventists than they realise.
Yeah.
Uh, and the interesting thing is, Ted Wilson only a couple of years ago did this talk about at the time of trouble, when the Sunday law comes in, you might have to. It's so important to keep the Sabbath that you might even have to give up your life for it. So if that's not your Adventism, you've got to remember that the president of your church carries a bit of weight, and
Mhm.
for him to say that, for millions of people to hear, not only Adventists, a lot of people heard that.
Yeah, but they have their different flavors of Adventism. Like, even when I was talking to my mom, she would be like, this was news to me because Doug Batchelor was, huge in my growing up. And she was
Mm,
like, well, so and so doesn't follow Doug Batchelor anymore. We don't follow him. We
yeah,
follow Mark
Finley.
Finley or Randy Skeets and
Yeah,
that's your flavor of Adventism. And
yeah,
it's all
yeah.
different because you can't have your Mark Finley and still have, the rest of, well, is he the last generation or the perfect,
Yeah.
what is
Um,
that? Where they think they have to be perfect.
yeah, the last generation theology, yeah, which
Yeah.
actually is Adventism.
Yeah,
Now,
it
now
is.
Dave Edgren writes to us, why invest so much energy in hating or scorning someone you disagree with? Dave, is that
Um,
what you think we're doing? Hating and scorning? I do find
I
that,
don't
and
know
I
how much
and
energy
and
I'm
I
doing.
and I know Dave well, and I'm very happy that he's engaging and sharing his thoughts. Um, well, I don't know. It's kind of a classic Adventist thing to try and control what you do, and
Yeah.
if we're letting off steam, and if we're highlighting
Yeah.
some points that are actually a bit dangerous, why not
Hmm.
do it with a little bit of humour?
Yeah.
I don't feel any scorn or hate within me right now at all. And and
No.
and people say this big thing. Why invest so much energy into it? It's literally like this little one that I did, that I just played before. I'll just do one quick. Um, second of one that I did a couple of months ago. And that was with the three founders, Ella
Yeah.
and James and Joseph Bates, and that literally, it took like 2 minutes, so it's hardly a huge
Yeah.
amount of energy and time. But Dave, I'm interested in why you say that, because obviously this is triggering you a little bit, and you and I have had some chats over coffees in cafes, and I really appreciate you as a person. So tell us why you think you've chosen words like why invest so much energy and time into hating and scorning. Did you have another thought on that particular comment before we go on to
Oh, this slide?
the next thing? Yeah, on what Dave just said there.
Oh, I I like engaging the people in conversation just to, basically encourage them to think critically on these things and
Mm,
not to take anybody's word for it. I took my mom's word and I
mm,
thought, hey, greater minds, my mom figured this out. And no, she was trapped in it, you know,
mm,
and, that's just how it is. I'm not like, I don't know, like one of these memes I did in the tax office
mm,
and I don't really think much of it.
mm.
And one of them, I was like, I was in the shower and, I was just like, oh, that would be funny. So
Yeah. Yes, I know.
this one week though, I was just like, there was like 4 or 5 that got so much traction all at
Yes,
once. It's
I
like,
know.
oh, okay. It kept me
It's
so
it's
busy.
it's very cathartic though, isn't it? Like there's something
Yeah.
very cathartic about it.
But you
Um,
have to stop talking to them at some point because they do get very, there are
Vitriolic.
some that get very riled up and
Yeah.
you
It's
have to
interesting.
know when to just say,
Know
okay.
when to fold them.
Mhm.
Know when to
Yeah.
hold them. Know when to fold them.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting, like with what Dave just said there, and I'm don't want to pigeonhole you, Dave, but I'm guessing that Dave's more of a that's not my Adventism kind of person. And it's
Mhm.
interesting to me, if you're a that's not my Adventism kind of Adventist, it means there's a whole lot with the Adventist source material that you don't agree with. So my question is to you: why do you invest so much energy in disagreeing with the actual beliefs of Adventism?
Right.
If you're going to be that's not my Adventism kind of person, you have to, as Frank Merendino says, jettison so many of those core source beliefs that you cannot deny are Adventist pillars. And
Right.
so, why spend so much energy being a part of a church that you don't agree with most of the doctrines?
Yeah.
Whereas we're just having
And
a bit of
just give
fun
them
pointing
money.
out. Yeah.
That's
Mm.
it. They don't agree with their own doctrine, but they're like, "Here, have my tithe money. Make it double."
Yes. Yeah. 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 Um, Dave has
But
written
they're
back.
not
So,
even part of the remnant. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
the inner people that are supposed to go to heaven are supposed to be vegans so that they can be translated, you
Yeah.
know?
And
So
a lot of that's not my Adventism Adventists eat meat. A lot of them drink alcohol.
mhm,
They've watered it down so much, but there's
right,
kind of a naivety there. I was chatting to someone this morning. They had written that oh my this the gospel Adventists are growing and expanding, and the IJ isn't being taught anymore in the schools, and the historicists are losing ground. And I said, the numbers do not support what you are saying. The
yeah.
majority of Seventh day Adventists on the planet are traditional Adventists that hold Ellen White in high esteem, high
Very
authority.
much.
So, and he said, oh, well, the lecturers at the universities aren't preaching the IJ and sanctuary doctrines anymore. So what? when young Adventists go to these universities by Adventists where Adventist scholars don't preach Ellen White and don't preach the IJ, most of them leave. So you've got all these young people that he says aren't being given that message anymore. 60% of them leave, allegedly. And then around the world, those who aren't even bothering with going to college or uni anyway, they are still very traditional.
Yeah.
I'll just read Dave's written back. Regarding hate and scorn, I was reaching for the worst words about your conversation in the way you are reaching to the worst of Adventism. Okay. Dave, we need a coffee to chat about this. You can have a decaf because you're obviously, wanting to look at the good side of Adventism. And I wouldn't say we are reaching for the worst of Adventism. I think it's pretty. You don't have to scrape too far to find this kind of Adventism.
Right.
We're not reaching far at all.
It's pretty fun to dig in, actually.
Yeah.
I was like doing a forensic files for like 6 months.
All right.
And Mike Colborn does like a great job. Anything Ellen. And then
Yes.
Steve Daly's autobiography.
Yeah.
Or psychobiography.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So much. There's so much that's
Yeah.
just so good. Once you get out, you're like, oh yeah, okay. And there's so much to unlearn.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Derek writes, the memes are therapeutic. Thank you, Barb, for bringing a little lightheartedness to a dark religion.
Yeah.
Right. Well, will we go on to the next one?
Okay. Let's see. Let's see.
Oh,
Are
my
we on
goodness.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's fun.
I hadn't seen this one.
No.
Yeah, wow.
I tell everybody right away, on all my pictures and stuff, you can steal away, if you like the image, keep it going,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this one's
if
the
it's
one
too
that I see
confronting.
a lot circulating.
Yeah.
Like, get ready, get ready, get ready. Because that's one of her quotes.
Yeah.
So. And then her and her dead husband coming to her in a dream.
Yeah.
Can't say vision, but she took his advice. She moved to California.
Yeah, that's the key to that one. When I first was confronted with that dream she had, I thought, well, a lot of people, when someone dies, they have a dream. I wouldn't really put much,
Right.
onto that. But when she then did follow the advice that she got from what he'd said in the dream,
Yeah.
and it was a big thing. It wasn't just I was going to go anyway. It was a
Brand new
really
thing.
big move. Yeah. Yeah.
Ellen, you're doing too much. You need to retire.
Yes.
Move out west.
Yeah. And even if let's say she didn't even have a dream about him saying that, and she just wanted to move out west because California's got better weather, she is still using the authority of someone coming to her in a dream to act upon it. And
yeah.
These are the kind of ones that Dave will have been talking about that are offending him, that we are reaching to the worst corners of Adventism.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they're harsh. Yeah, and the next one's like, no, I tried to get the harshest ones out first, so your audience will be shocked first. If they want to leave, bye-bye.
Yeah, they can. So Dave, stay. They get way more easygoing.
Yeah, not the next one though. Just hold on. Yeah, so there is the obelisk there in the background of get ready, get ready, get ready, which that comes up quite often in the forums, which is very interesting because it's like an occult symbol. And she did, when her husband died, she signed the paperwork for his obelisk because one of the arguments is, well, she couldn't, buy her own grave, and it's like, but she bought the same for her husband. So
Yeah.
so we're getting into some of the symbolism that is that you'll see a lot, in Seventh-day Adventism. But yeah, that one's a pretty popular one that I see circulating around the forums.
Yeah. Well, let's go on to the next one. Yeah, Dave says he's going to stick around as long as he can, and he's off to a pastor's meeting.
Okay, here's the next. All right. This one was so hard to make. This one took a while. This took hours, in fact.
Yeah, that's
and a
interesting.
lot of tears. I cried. And I'll still cry. Like when this comes back, I'll see this. And it's just, because in my experience, and it's not everybody's experience growing up Seventh-day Adventist, but you're just taught to wear masks and try to be perfect, and there's a lot of authoritative, discipline and harsh, and you're already starting to be indoctrinated. But this quote is, unfortunate, but it just shows you how Ellen sees the gospel.
Yeah.
And it's just horrifying.
Yes.
Because this is being taught to children.
Yes.
And it's spiritual abuse. And it's traumatizing kids, and it's giving them what's the one that's PTSD, but it's chronic, or I don't know, the one that's over time. Because they get to see these very disturbing things, the Daniel Revelation seminars and the books and the final events or whatever. And Doug Batchelor's DVD, I think. There's just very disturbing content, and they're just taught a whole bunch of, doom and gloom and flee to the mountains. Sunday keepers are going to murder you. The Catholics and the Sunday law and the Pope.
Yeah. And for those honey trappers who say that's not my Adventism, and they try and focus on the the tree hugging hippie Jesus, praise and worship, happy Sabbath, haystack kind of Adventism, I'm not criticizing them, but I'm just pointing out, I'd like to point out to them that as they keep people in the church, this kind of material isn't in the dark far reaches of Adventism hard to find. And the majority of Adventists on the planet actually read this stuff, and it affects them right now. This is not something that we're talking ancient history. And that part that there, I'll just read it from, you've got there, from an appeal to the youth. He will not take them to the beautiful city, for he only admits the good, obedient, and patient children there. One fretful, disobedient child would spoil all the harmony of heaven. And that's implying very strongly that you don't get to heaven unless you've already put all of the work in. All of that merit-based focus is, if you come into heaven, you're going to spoil it. It's just disgusting. I can understand why you were so moved and upset when you and wasn't this a letter to Willie, the first part? You wicked, naughty children, God does not love. God's not going to love you, Willie, and he's 5 years old, for goodness sake.
But you'll get a lot of, that's taken out of context.
Yes, or back then they were stricter on kids.
With that.
Yeah, wow, boy.
No, it's either you're taking it out of context, or what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like to have to explain what's wrong with that very often.
I know. Oh, Rochelle points out it's CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Thanks, Rochelle.
And Rochelle, I heard something today about post-traumatic growth, and that's what happens after you start healing, after CPTSD
Yeah.
initials. So yeah, I wanted to look into this growth,
Yeah.
whatever study sounded interesting. So do we want to go past this one, or do you have more?
Yeah, no, I think let's go on to the next one.
All right. All right, this one got a lot of hate.
Yes, I remember this one.
I don't even know why I was thinking of the Funny Farm. My best friend growing up, she used to love to sing that song. They're coming to take me away. Ho ho hee hee ha ha. And for some reason, I was thinking of that, and I was like, oh, I could make a lot of people upset on this one, I'm sure. But it's all true in there. They think the Sunday law is coming, and Rome is the little horn, and Sunday keepers are going to be murderers, and it looks like there's a list there. Oh, like a conspiracy list or something. I don't know. But yeah, she is the trans medium, false prophet, con artist, plagiarist, hypocrite with severe narcissism. I keep writing it out. It gets longer and longer. I need to put liar in there, but
Yeah.
and
Derek
then there's
writes,
oysters over here.
yeah, Derek writes, this is one of my faves. Angela writes, and I was so ready to leave. Trail
no.
Rider writes, I'm so thankful I woke up to what this church really promotes. And if you
Really?
think, oh well, this is in the dark hidden reaches of Adventist, look, just your top one there, Sunday law is coming. How that's not in the distant far reaches. And what does that mean? If you're saying to young people to this day, the church does teach Sunday law is coming. Sure, there's not my Adventism. Adventists say, oh, it's not really that, it's a metaphor or whatever. But the bulk of Adventists believe that the Sunday law is coming. And what does that mean? It's going to be enforced. And if you don't keep the Sabbath when Sunday law comes in, look out. You're going to be, at the very best, fined. But Ted Wilson, in not the very far reaches of Adventism, Ted Wilson, president, says you might have to give up your life for it.
I was going to say some of them. Oh, shoot. Now I lost it. When the Ted Wilson. No.
About the Sunday law coming and what they'll have to do.
Oh, yeah. They didn't even do that in World War II, did they? They just changed the name of the Sabbath so they wouldn't sound Jewish. I mean, they're always bending the knee.
Yeah.
And they did to Hitler. And they talked very fondly of him. And that's, verifiable also.
Well, that's how the Reform Adventists split. Now, Dave asks a question, and I'm not sure if Dave's used AI much or not, but it's difficult to keep the original image of someone, and maybe you were thinking of copyright as well. But Dave asks in the memes, why did you use this random woman rather than an image of EGW? This is hurting you, isn't it, Dave? I can tell. Sorry about that, mate. I care for you and your feelings, and I hope we can push through this one for you and help understand. So, in answer to his question there, why have you?
Where did the Ellen White image come from?
Well, why have you kept it a little bit different? It's obviously Ellen White. But why have you kept it a little bit different to the actual look on her face, her actual face?
Yeah. I got the image from somebody else, and he taught me how to do these, basically, and I don't really know what happened to him. He was, I think, in Brazil or something like that.
Right.
And I know I feel really bad because he was doing a lot of these on the forums, and a lot of times I would see somebody issue threats to him saying, you better stop this or else. And, I would just report it and say, I took a screenshot of this, in case something happened. And I haven't heard from him in a while, and the page is completely gone. And so I don't know, but that Ellen originally came from him. So I just keep saying prayers because, sometimes things are not clean when it comes to Adventism in other countries.
Right.
They are known for violence. And I mean, we all read the news articles. We all get the same articles. You guys can't deny that there is violence that happens to formers.
Yeah. Dave adds, how am I hurting? You're reading a lot into my comments, LOL. Sorry about that, Dave. You're not hurting. You're just posting and sharing. No worries.
Good.
Nothing to see here.
And I just like the haystack one. And that's a typical potluck. I was just like, oh, hey, it's Saturday. They're going to have potluck and go talk about who bought gas on the Sabbath or who's not vegan. It's always talking about somebody.
Yes.
That was one of the things that bothered me the most. I picked up on some drama that really hurt. And I didn't like the gossip. I didn't like talking behind people's backs. And, when it's such a small group and everybody's pretty much related or knows somebody who knows somebody, But if you don't like that pastor or that pastor's family, when you're, purposely not going to Sabbath the day they're speaking and driving 2 hours away, you can see these kind of conflicts, and it's just gossip. And
yes. Yeah, I love
the
the
root.
way they're sitting there talking with like this. And what I love about the ones in your where you post a lot of this is you can zoom in. You can zoom in. I remember this one spending a lot of time just zooming in and reading a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they get in depth. On and up.
Well, let's go on to the next one.
All right.
And while you're doing that, Angela writes, and the trauma of reading messages to young people, which caused me serious mental anguish. Glad I'm a psychiatrist now. You can sort of self-treat, Angela. And that book's still available. That's I read it, well, part of it the other day. Yes. Okay, tell us about this one.
Well, Seventh-day Adventists, they don't really test Ellen biblically. They look to her parlor tricks, basically her superhuman strength and her holding her breath, and those are third grade education. I don't know about some of them. You're taught that and you're like, oh yeah, that's so cool. And then you start learning about it and you're like, no, that is not cool. So like there were more prophets, who said that they were illiterate and pointed to that being, a sign of their legitimacy. And no, how much education is not a test. So like Muhammad, he was illiterate also. So, and I think one of the other ones that came out of the burned over district or whatever it was called was also fairly illiterate. Or was it Bates? No, Bates was the super smart one, wasn't he?
And wealthy.
Yeah. So, yeah, they just, they need to, just, when the prophet does not speak truthfully or if it does not come true, disregard them.
Yeah.
It takes a while. You don't just learn about this stuff and go, oh, okay, well, I don't believe in Ellen White anymore. No, it takes a while. You have to really, really tear it down a lot of layers.
Yeah.
So, but you have to have some standards, I guess, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that
I
that
love
one got a lot.
I love the test of the prophet that you've got there, though. You can just check them off. Does the message align with Scripture? Clearly,
Yeah.
there are many added bits to Scripture, like even
Yeah.
that one about burning at the end of time. Those who have sinned more will burn longer.
You're right.
That's just one, and there's many. Is the prophecy true and accurate? Food for worms didn't happen. That vision, people then
Chicago Bill.
say, yeah, and people say, oh, well, that was a conditional vision, and
Yeah.
but then the condition is not like the same as Jonah, where well they repented, therefore then they weren't destroyed. It's not that. Her condition is, well, you didn't follow the teachings of the third angel's message, therefore the Lord didn't return in time. So it's a total different condition. And then and then any prophet can say that, oh, well, you didn't follow
Right.
the teachings of what I'm saying you should follow. So, and then the next one is, what is the fruit and character? Well, you can point to all the good things she did, but you can also point to the fruit of the way she was writing to her little son Willie. Does it
Yeah.
exalt Christ and the gospel? Well, you're saying the atonement wasn't finished on the cross. That's hardly
Right.
exalting Christ. Are they open to testing and correction? Obviously not. When you're testing and correcting in your memes, there's a lot of
Yeah.
pushback. They're not open to that. And is their
No.
message original or copied from others? Well, I mean, we talked about the Desire of Ages earlier. At least 85% of that book is paraphrased. And they did an
Right.
8-year study. Fred Veltman, the church, funded an 8-year study, and they're the conclusions he drew.
Yeah.
So, and
It's just their standards.
I mean, Dave was saying that he's not hurt or upset, and that I was putting words into his mouth. But he started the whole conversation saying that, why are we being angry and scornful? So that kind of starts the process of it, you appearing to be upset about it, Dave. And he's just said, well, it was just a question. Sorry, I'll stop trying to help the conversation from down under. I
No.
just think, come on, Dave, you keep saying whatever you want, mate. That's fine.
Yeah.
The interesting one that when you posted this one, I thought it's interesting, the parallels with trance mediumship and witchcraft and
Astral
spiritualism as well.
projection too. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
The
No.
altered
Yeah.
trance
That's big.
states, the supernatural shows and parlor tricks, the physical
Yeah.
manifestations, the claims of special revelation, does not exalt Christ or the gospel, and
Right.
the plagiarizing. And you're not just gaslighting there. They are actual major
Yeah.
things that are presented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they do their mental gymnastics on that too. So it's mostly like, oh well, Daniel had, did things, or it's like, yeah, that's totally different, and you know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, let's go on to the next one. I love how you're using the T-shirt of the logo.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I
This
like
is
this
the
one.
one
The questions on
yeah.
doctrine and tell us.
Yeah.
And is that John Ankerberg in the middle?
I tried to do the likeness.
Yeah, it's
It
very
doesn't
well.
always
I could
work
tell it
out.
was him. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it was just a really big part of, leaving Adventist is watching the John Ankerberg show and how they just lied through their teeth on questions on doctrines and hid it, and
Yeah.
so that was the eye opener. I probably wrote something. I don't know. I put everything that I've written on Substack, but I kind of just do the images and post like relevant verses now, because I mean, I like doing the writing, but people they're not reading it. If they're reading it, they're not comprehending it, because like I'll get the weirdest, questions on my posts, and I'm like, did you read it?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that one was one of my more favorite ones.
It's an important one, really, the whole questions on doctrine, because that was the line in the sand that the church wanted to come across to the rest of the
Right.
world. People say, "Oh, well, there's 1888 and 19 conference, and yeah, there's all sorts of times in Adventist history where doctrines have been confronted, but or challenged, this kind of thing. But the questions on doctrine was a very intentional release to show to the rest of the world that no, there's nothing to see here. That's not my Adventism. And as I said
Right.
yesterday in my show yesterday, the irony of when that book came out, the actual real traditional Adventists were like, that's not my Adventism, and they were right. Whereas now it created such a fertile soil for the gospel Adventists that when they go, that's not my Adventism, ironically, they kind of don't even see that actually they are the ones that have turned real Adventism into a hybrid.
Yeah.
And there's just so much naivety and ignorance surrounding that. They have turned Adventism into a different theology. It's incredible.
Yeah, I know. Ellen's rolling in her soul sleep right now with how things are going for the Adventist church.
Yes. Oh, look, I tell you what, it's a massive. There's a massive fallout with the women's ordination thing,
I know, I
where
read
another
that.
union has said, yes, we will ordain, which is in direct opposition to the GC edict. They're non-compliant by being that way. You've got your Conrad Vines and all your tithing stuff, and you've got the independent ministries flourishing. You've got it is in disarray from every point at the moment.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of lives being ruined right now. Just a lot. Families being torn apart. It's the way it goes. They're known for being Sadventists for a reason.
Yeah.
Ready?
Let's go to the next one.
Oh, yes. Oh, I got so much. Yeah.
This was one of the first ones I saw, the starter pack, I think, maybe.
Oh, really?
Not sure, but I loved the Heresy
funny.
Bunch. I really thought that was very, very
I think
good.
I put a jingle for that Heresy Bunch one. But I like the that I got. It's so hard to get Doug Batchelor's likeness right. I feel really bad.
You did well.
Because I want to, it's, but
it's interesting how fast, like my little angel flying one that I showed you before, it keeps changing her, and I have to keep telling it to, no, I want it the exact picture. And so it'll go back to the exact picture, but it'll change everything else. So it's harder to
what
get.
you should do is take your last image that you liked and then download that and then wipe that conversation and start a new conversation with it, because it keeps trying to go back and fix, and then it just gets more screwed up. So you just have to wipe the slate at your last one you liked and start altering it from there.
Okay.
And say keep exact likeness.
Keep exact likeness. Okay.
Yes. That's
well,
a big one.
read to us the starter pack, the SDA Apologetics starter pack, because I just can't read a lot of those. So give us all the words.
Yeah. I can't see all the words either. It looks like the book says Universal Answer card with the Daniel 8:14, which is something they will always go to. Let's see. What does that say? The answer to every question? Maybe. I don't know. And then you got your hand-picked cherries since 1844. And the context eraser, because they like doing that.
I love the apologetic goalposts.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, it's hard to keep them on track when you're
Yeah,
talking to them. They're like, "Oh, but this," and no, come back. You didn't,
yeah,
answer for this. And then their proof text mode is the magnifying. Yeah, they like to proof text. Their hopscotch
yeah.
eisegesis. They
Yeah,
like to do their decoder ring with their great controversy. Oh, lesser light right here, present truth.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's another example. The great controversy. They are pumping them out. They're everywhere,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of them just get chucked into the bin. But
Oh, yeah.
but young people, no matter how great the gospel Adventist is, and the beautiful haystack potluck church in their local area is,
Mhm.
that young people and people who join the church easily stumble across the great controversy. Flick that book
Right.
open and just point your finger at any page. Pretty much 90% of the time, you're going to find something that is very confronting,
Yeah.
inaccurate, copied, and fear mongering.
Yeah.
So, give us some of the names in the heresy bunch. We've got Ellen, we've got Doug Batchelor, we've got James White. Is that Mark Finley as well? We've got Dave Asherick.
Yeah.
Um,
And Ashrick, yeah, Mark Finley and Skeets,
oh, yes, Skeets.
Randy Skeets. Oh, shoot. Uh, oh, I don't remember. It'll come to me later. I don't deal with him as much because his clips don't come through on the forums as much as
Right.
Mark Finley, Skeets, and Doug
Yeah.
Batchelor. Those are the three that you will always see on the forums. You hardly ever see anybody else.
Yeah.
At least the forums that I frequent.
And if you're a gospel Adventist, this really hit me the other day, and you say to them, well, what about the food for worms vision, where Ellen said, some of you will be food for worms, some of you will see Christ return soon. Around that same time, she said, what we've had years to prepare, some of you will only have months.
Right.
And so the gospel Adventist says, yes, but that was conditional prophecy. Okay, well, what was the condition? Because we know that gospel Adventists and progressive Adventists do not believe in last generation theology. They hate it. So what's the condition that validates her vision as being, okay, well, the condition wasn't met, that's why it didn't come true. Not that it was a lie or false. So they then have to tell you that the condition was that generation hadn't followed the three angels' message, and therefore the Lord didn't return, which is last generation theology. So gospel Adventists who say, well, she wasn't false because it had a condition, have to then agree that last generation theology is a thing. And they don't want to do that. So that absolutely puts them in a bind. They cannot answer themselves out of that one.
Next one?
Yes, let's go to the next one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My Kool-Aid. I love doing that one. I think because they want that to be their verse. It is not their verse. It is the verse that they should be, paying attention to because, yeah, they are drunk off the wine of Babylon. And hold on, I don't know why that's on my screen. Yeah, that one's fun. It's just ironic to me, I guess, because you hear them say that so much and you're like, I don't think you know what that means.
Yes, yeah.
So it's ironic to me. So yeah, they drank the
love-
Kool-Aid, they
Yeah.
drank the Babylon wine. I don't
Yeah.
know why they love that verse so much, but it's talking about you.
Yeah, I love it. The Babylon wine special edition.
Uh,
I love
this one,
sorry, go ahead.
the John Madden one.
Yeah, I
That
love
was,
that he's saying that ain't our playbook, which is that's not my
yeah,
Adventism.
yeah.
As well
This
as
one,
there's got several meanings there. And I love where she's going, run this play, thus saith the Lord. And
yeah,
this is the thing. If she's a prophet and she said, run this play, and she did, she told everyone to do these different things. If you then go back, well, that was for her time, but people are still running those plays. Oh no, they're not. They're it's so disingenuous that a lot of the progressives just they just move those goalposts like you had in the last one.
Yeah.
What are the verse ones where it's got disciples in the Bible versus Ellen White?
Where is that?
In the bottom left there.
No, I got it too small on my screen. Let me
No,
see.
there was a button. I don't know where it's gone, where I was able to actually make these bigger, but it's not letting me do it. Unless I do this one. No, it's not letting me.
Oops.
Oh well.
Nope.
That's all right. We get the gist. There's enough there to see that you can read. That's great. And I encourage people to go and
change the screen.
oh yes, this one.
Oops, how do you get back?
That's all right. We'll go into the next one. There's something playing up. I can't change anything on mine. It's frozen. But I think we're still going live. I think we're going live.
Well.
So tell us about this one. Yep, that's the false prophetess.
Yeah, I did it like a pulp culture week, I guess. Stuff that was, trending. And Sophie happened to be one of them. And so she's pointing to the false prophet, saying, Sophie, don't miss when it comes to false prophetess. So that one got a lot of love. That one was fun to make. I was giggling on this one. I was giggling on both of them, but the other one I wasn't so sure about because I try not to go too much into politics or anything like that.
Right,
but everybody seemed to really like it.
Ellen G. White remains under observation after prolonged soul sleep.
Yeah. It's just for fun, Obviously, I don't think that she woke up out of soul sleep and is in a hospital bed.
Yeah. You never know.
But it gets a conversation going, so,
Yeah.
Yeah, those were fun.
Oh dear, and I love the facts there too, the shut door, the plagiarism, the prophet from prophecy, the occult, the
white lies in there too in the newspaper. And the crossword there says plagiarism, I think.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
Well, let's go on to the next one.
Oh, this one's like one of the long ones that, this is where 2 or 3 weeks ago, I came across the water witching where Ellen hired a water witch to find water in California for the property out there. And it's their own sources. And the person was like, oh, the devil's hand is at play here or something like that. And it's like, what? These are your sources. This is your primary source documents. And that's,
exactly.
for the most part, when I show them the quotes about the water witching and stuff like that, I'll either get, oh, well, a little witchcraft is okay. And I'm like, what? Seriously?
That's incredible.
So I hear that a lot.
Wow.
And that's pretty much the big one. Well, it was okay. It's, scientific or something. I'm like, what? No, you think this stick is going to guide you to water? Didn't you read the Bible and what, God thinks of wooden idols and stuff, and you think this piece of stick is going to find you water?
Yeah.
And they just don't see it. They don't even accept their own sources when you show it to them. So then people are still talking on this thread. So. And then that's another thing Ellen told her victims, really, that they shouldn't go to the assemblies of non-SDAs. You shouldn't gather with them. And they're pretty, now they stay away from, interacting. And if you like growing up, we always had that talk. They're like, okay, well, they're not Seventh-day Adventists, so,
Yeah.
you got to be careful. Don't believe anything they say, because it's probably from Satan. Yeah, you hear a lot of that. But yeah, they like to go online, especially on Sabbath, and they want to water witching isn't magic. See?
Yeah, Dave, and that's Dave saying that I don't want to pigeonhole you, Dave, but you'd be a gospel-focused Adventist, I would imagine, from what I know of your blogs. He has
Yeah.
written here that it finds wells. What's the science behind that, Dave? Of it finding wells? What's the science going on there? I'm just going to reload this page. If I disappear, just keep going without me for a minute because it's
Don't
frozen my
disappear.
end. It's frozen. So I will come back, but just in case I disappear, you just keep chatting.
Oh dear. Say a prayer that Peter comes back. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to talk about the don't attend their assemblies unless it's online, because you will find them online. And technically, Ellen said that they should not do that. And especially on the Sabbath, which they should not engage in trifling conversation, because therefore they are breaking the fourth commandment, which Ellen White says. So even engaging in conversation on the Sabbath, they have so many rules, down to not shaving on Sabbath, or obviously you're not supposed to prepare your food or anything like that. But your flavor of Adventist might be, different than the other flavor of Adventist. And I've been to like a couple of different areas and lived, like seen the liberal type Adventists and the historical type Adventists. So I kind of understand the conflict that goes in between those. But there is so much conflict in the system itself. Either they follow Doug Batchelor or Mark Finley or whoever else. So they're not really big on, well, most, not all. Yeah, they don't want to test it. They don't want to look at the primary source documents, or they'll just say that, it's the devil's hand at work here. That's from Satan. Satan. They give Satan a lot of credit, just a heck of a lot of credit. Peter is really taking a long time here. Yeah, they have Satan in heaven at one point, receiving prayers from like who isn't part of the remnant. And I don't know, what else do? They give Satan a whole day. They say that Sunday is Satan's day. All days are God's days. Satan doesn't get a day. They like to just give him more power than he has. He's already been defeated. So, I don't know. Let's just go to the next slide because I'm done talking about this one. All right. This one was a fun one. I was in the shower when I thought up cult busters. I don't even know why. And I don't know why it says if it can survive scripture, or if it can't survive scripture, it doesn't survive the test twice. I have no idea. Anyway, that one was a fun one. I heard something. Oh, there you go. Yay.
I'm back.
The rapture didn't happen.
Yes. I was raptured. I've been watching, but I couldn't log in. But, so I heard
no.
everything, so it's good. So Cult Busters, yeah, this was a good one.
I laughed on this one, but there was another one I made, I think either the same day or the day before, and that one got all the love. So I don't even know the ones that are going to be funny. I just do what comes to me, and sometimes I'm shocked which ones get the most interactions on. So yeah, but this one did pretty good. People circulated this one for a little while, and then I like the X-Files, so I made one on the Heresy Files.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, there's newspapers out there, especially nowadays with these Ancestry and 23andMe, people digging into their, family and stuff. They're seeing these newspapers of, stuff that happened back in 1844 and stuff. And, it was a thing that they talked about in the newspapers at the time. So unfortunately, what would be really fun is to find an ascension robe or anything about it. It's going to come out of somebody's closet one of these days. One of the farmers is going to go, what is this? And it's going to be an ascension robe. So, but yeah, and that's another one of the things that the Adventist lowercase God of confusion and deceit.
Yeah.
He doesn't communicate well with Adventists,
Yeah.
because you can joke that, he spoke in Canaanite, or Ellen didn't understand this, or, but yeah, I don't remember where I was going with this.
I Googled while I was waiting to log back in about the water divining, because Dave was saying it's true and other people say it's true, but it's only anecdotally proven. Online it says water divining, also called dowsing, does not work through any proven physical forces, and science shows it is not reliable. They've used controlled tests, and scientific studies show that water diviners do not perform better than random chance. Double-blind tests, when testers hide where water is, dowsers fail to find it more often than random guessing. There's no mechanism. Physics and geology find no known energy or force connecting water underground to the divining rod.
Interesting.
Why it seems to work, there's often small unconscious muscle movements cause the divining rod to twitch or move without the person realizing it. Confirmation bias. People remember the times the rod pointed to water and forget the many times it failed. And geological knowledge. Experienced dowsers often know local terrain, plants, and landscapes, which gives them a hint. So the whole interesting point about that is that really a lot of what Ellen White's claims are fall into that exact same category. And people are more than happy to go, well, it works for me, and all the same reasons that it works for them are just not provable. They're fine if you want to go and use your divining rods and look for water. I'm not criticizing people who do, and there are people that do it and really believe in it. But that's not the point. The point is none of it can be proven. It's the same with Ellen White and her visions and all her claims. None of them can be proven with empirical data.
No.
The Heresy Files. What was that one about asylums at maximum capacity?
Yeah, just, what the newspapers were saying that there was an increase after 1844. I think that I've only seen 2 newspapers on that off of the Ancestry.com website. But yeah, they were talking about the Millerite movement a lot in that time,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
get. They were very controversial. They were doing some weird things like the Israel Damon
Yes.
stuff and just some, strange
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah. John adds water witching is kind of like E.G. White prophecies.
yeah.
Yeah. And this one here, listening ear, writes, we had an October 22, 1844 celebration one Sabbath, and how SDAs came about that because of Ellen G. White. I'm doing a show soon on the secret Daniel committee that was put together by Raymond Cottrell. They studied for 5 years with 27 plus scholars, academics, theologians, and had to report to Figure, the president at the time, that they could not, by the Bible alone, confirm any of the Daniel Revelation prophecies. They had to bring Ellen White into it. And
Right.
Ellen White told the people that William Miller's dates were correct, and it was just what had happened that was wrong. And
Yeah.
I'm like, actually, no. These scholars, smarter people than I, spent 5 years trying to prove that those dates were accurate, and they can't. They couldn't.
They
They had
can't.
to hide the minutes of
Yeah.
the results of this committee meeting.
Yeah.
And just recently, the John Pauline, who's been on the show, has got some Armageddon Daniel Revelation gathering of scholars, and they're trying to do it again. They're trying to prove that somehow you can prove the
They're all
sanctuary doctrine. And I'm like, guys, when are you going to realize you can't? And
they're always up to something.
oh dear, let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
They're always up to something.
They are.
That's so
Oh,
funny.
this one's fun.
Oh,
Somebody
yes, I
liked
love
this
this
one
one.
today. Yeah. So you'll only hear a couple of verses, on the forums. And it's going to be Daniel 8:14 or Revelation 14:12 and Exodus 20, Matthew 5:17 through 19, and Ecclesiastes. Then you'll get Isaiah 66 there a lot. And I'm like, okay, so what does it say in verse 24? Can you, show me verse 24, which it basically says they're walking on dead corpses in heaven. So you're like, imagery, people, come on.
Yeah.
So unless you think you're going to be walking on dead corpses in heaven, but they also think that there's no death in heaven and they're vegans. And so I don't know how they get past that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh,
And
wow.
frauds was fun. I actually saw this like on a Christian site. I think it was Joel Osteen, the prosperity gospel people, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I can do something with that. So I liked that one. A lot of people
That is
seem
very
to get a
good.
kick out of that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
nice.
tell you what, we've both mentioned the sales funnel kind of pyramid marketing scheme that
Right.
Adventism is. I mean, I even have on my little graphic about that, where we've got the main 4 groups of Adventism. We've got the formers smiling down the bottom there,
Yeah.
and they've got leadership, and there's an incredible amount of money.
Right. Oh,
in,
it's massive.
And what I find a little bit sad is that the independent guys are absolutely raking it in millions, millions of
Yeah, and
dollars.
the
And the
poor
main,
churches, they're
yeah,
suffering. They're suffering.
the main churches don't. The main mothership has to make their money from property
But
development and
they're
tithing.
taught to
Yeah,
suffer.
yeah.
They're teaching, the bottom level.
Mm,
Suffering is your,
very true.
it makes you legitimate, to suffer for the church, and this is your service to the church. And it's a lot of brainwashing and indoctrination. So
Yeah.
yeah. And it's more than just the things that I mentioned. They will just bleed you dry on every aspect of your life up to death, where
Yeah.
they will willingly write your will for you, and they're
Yes.
gonna get a cut of your estate.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. And they're not too troubled about the independent ministries, because they do know that they've got their pastors and their employees, that they take the 10% tithe out of their wages every week automatically.
Right.
I love this one from Down Under Drift. The cash bags explain the grins.
Yeah.
Those grins definitely are associated with the money, not the joy of the gospel.
Right.
Angelina adds to what we'd said a bit earlier. After all, Saul did consult a witch, or Endor, and
Yeah.
and didn't he find Samuel because of that? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's
Yep.
interesting, the committee I just mentioned. Ray made a comment. It's hard to believe that the committee would not have published something if they had at least a colourable argument in favour. Yeah, well, they didn't. They had nothing. And here's these scholars. These scholars weren't trying to go against the church. They were committed to try and make it fit, and they couldn't. And Figure, the president at the time, instead of saying, well, let's put it out for general public discussion, he says, the flock, the church, the members aren't ready for this kind of information. Oh, but they're ready to go and talk about Ellen White's kind of cray, unprovable visions of worms and food for worms. It's insulting to membership. It's actually insulting to hide this incredibly important information.
Yeah.
Ray also asks, and you might know this, I don't know, is there publicly available info about what some of these independent guys make?
No, I'm
Well,
sure.
I know that from the people who received the money, that when Danny Shelton came and spoke maybe 15, 20 years ago now in the big conservative church just down the road from me, and over 900 people came, and they needed to raise money to set up a 3ABN here in Australia, which is 5 minutes away from where I live. They needed to raise $3.5 million, and the person who at the time was working at 3ABN said that afternoon, in one afternoon, they raised $3.5 million Australian for that independent ministry. So there you go. Imagine one afternoon raising $3.5 million that could have gone and really helped some people in desperate need. So they're making money, but that's a good question, Ray. I'd love to know what they are making.
Know. They're not overly trustworthy with their numbers either. I mean,
Right.
obviously we've confirmed that they fudged their numbers, and they can't get away with, saying that's not a thing, because it was Ty Gibson that said it on one of their podcasts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's right.
Who's right? One of their spokespersons or their numbers.
Exactly.
And I know how hard it is to take your name off, because they'll go after your maiden name and all sorts. So
and a lot of former Adventists don't take their name off. And I just want to take a moment to encourage former Adventists to take their name off the roll. It's an extra thing. And a lot of people go, oh, I don't really care, and I don't know where it is, and it doesn't worry me.
Well,
yeah, but you will find if you take your name off, you are actually helping the cause by not allowing them to manipulate and use that as a number, and you'll feel a lot better. There's something about it too. It's like, don't let any hook still remain within you.
And people have reached out to me, and I've helped people take their names off because there's a template there. I think it's on the Reddit site too. There's just a template that's there for anybody to use, and you just fill it out, send it to your church, and
Mm,
so yeah. But if you need help, you can contact me, so I can
yeah, that's a
help you
good
out.
idea. Yeah. Down Under Drift says that several years ago, and this is not me alleging this is Down Under Drift, he looked up what Ty Gibson got paid, and it was
Wow.
around 160,000 US dollars, which is
Yeah.
at least 200,000 plus Australian.
Hmm.
And that's not counting, I'm sure, book sales and speaking engagements. And so, yeah, there is an incredible amount of money
Hmm.
uh, in this movement, and the guys at the top, the sales funnel guys, the pyramid marketing ones, they don't need a huge membership number to make squillions. I read somewhere that 1 in 2 Adventists in North America and division are employed in some way with the Adventist Church.
It's a closed system. They want
Yeah.
to say it's not a closed system, but you are encouraged to patronize, Seventh-day
Mm,
Adventists, and to grow up, and you're pushed through their school system so that you can have a job within the system.
yeah,
So
I know. And just think of the tithing off, that number of people. 10% of their income is incredible.
it is. And then
Mm.
they pay so much for this educational system too, and they ship their children off, to boarding academies hundreds of miles away, paying even more for these boarding
Yeah,
academies, and they still have the children working, in retirement homes or furniture factories,
yeah, yeah,
extra on top of that, because you'll find lots of Ellen quotes that say that you have to keep kids doing it's I don't know if she said manual labor, but it was like something to that effect. It's been a
mm,
long time since I've looked up that quote in particular, but yeah,
mm,
she wanted to encourage that, they're always busy, and so that they
mm.
can't have time for anything else,
Yeah, that's
basically.
true.
So
Yeah, yeah.
they pay an insane amount of money just to, work them in other ways too.
Yeah. Oh
I
well,
also think
that's
their missionary trips is just, deprogramming, rebellious teenagers.
yeah, that's right.
Send them off to another place that needs missionaries, and then they come back super religious.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of brainwashing going on.
Mhm.
Well, let's get on to the next one.
Oh, yeah, this is another
Yes,
pop
this one.
culture one,
Yes, yeah.
Jimothy. That's popular in the Pacific Northwest, in the Seattle area. There's a raccoon that has a shortened spine, and he seems to be the mascot over in that area. So one night I just was being goofy and made some Jimothy stuff, and
Right.
I'll post the white lie one, because you can download the white lie on the internetarchives.org.
Oh,
So
good.
usually when
Yes.
I
We can
post
put that in
that,
the chat. Yeah.
I usually post the white lie that you
Yeah.
can download off of there.
I'm
So I
also
just had
just
fun.
putting in the chat, if people want to get the link, here it is to so that's just gone out to Twitter and Rumble and Discord and YouTube. If people want to click that link or save it, they can go and check out your t-shirts as well. And
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just putting it into Facebook for those watching on Facebook as well.
yeah. BK
Right.
Apologist, he has a podcast, and He sells it on his storefront. And
Right.
I think there's more, but this is the one that I like the most. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And, people strike up a conversation with you. Explain your shirt. And then you have the opportunity to, say the gospel and then, watch out for those vegans and people who make hospitals.
Yeah.
They're a little bit.
And huge education systems.
Yeah. And, that's the thing that I don't understand about them being so offended about the word cult is, Ellen went out of her way to call them a peculiar people. And I'm like, that is not so. We're peculiar, but we're not a cult.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Oh, well,
So,
let's
yeah.
go to the next one.
Let's see. Oh, this is one of my more famous, I like this one a lot because it is
Yes.
where they blame God for holding his hand over the prediction or the calculations.
Yeah.
They're very confusing calculation, I might
Yeah.
add.
Yeah.
The calculation is confusing in itself. Come on, people. What does the Bible say about confusion? God ain't
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, by the
So
very nature of having to come up with a reason, God had his hand over it, so I didn't quite see the vision accurately or whatever. It's
but
just
it
adding to the
even says that
cray-cray.
they blame him for directing, the chart. I've seen that the 1843 chart was directed by the hand of the Lord.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
directing it, and then he's deceiving them
He's
by
purpose.
holding his hand over it. And it's just like, come on,
I love
it shouldn't be that hard.
that Corinthians 14:33. God is not the author
No,
of confusion.
no, he's not.
And
And that
and
44, that's confusion.
yeah. Down under drift. While you're just going to the next one, I'll just quickly read this one out. He's just pulled up the Ty's wages from 2023, and Ty Gibson, director president, it was 155,000 plus 24,500 for other. So that's
Interesting.
that's nearly, well, it's well over 200,000 Australian dollars. And I don't begrudge people, making money and putting creative stuff. Like if you sold 1 million t-shirts and you said, "Hey, I've just made a squillion," I'd be really happy for you. It's not about begrudging people this. It's about that their motives are to really fill a vacuum where they know there's a lot of disgruntled Adventists, and
Yeah.
hey, let's speak into this. I really like this one, the false teachers. I loved how Ellen White kind of really stood out in this row, and then
Oh, yeah.
then AC/DC.
Yeah, that one was fun.
Oh,
I
dear.
I had fun with this. I had her dancing in one too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn some of these apps and technology and stuff, so that's
What
kinda
app?
how I'm
What app
doing
do
it.
you use the most for these ones?
Well, yeah, most of them come from ChatGPT, but
Right.
there's another one that I don't know what it was that made her dance, but it was kinda clever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ellen White dancing, can you imagine? But yeah, this one was hard too because I got a little devil there in the reflection over at the unusual or the usual suspects. Sorry. So there's a little devil reflection there. That was
Yes.
really
Yeah.
hard to get AI to do. I was sitting there for
Right.
so long. But
Right.
yeah, because Satan himself can transform into an angel of light.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
AC/DC was just plain fun, 1844 it cost and what
Remastered.
yeah.
Oh
There
dear.
was another one I did. I don't think I included it, but it was the 80s bad or hair band that I did, and one of the songs on there was "Don't Stop Believing, Ellen."
Yes.
I
Oh,
thought it was so cute, Ellen and her big hair
and the
band type
usual
stuff.
suspects. Yeah.
Yeah, that one
Your
was
Ellen
fun.
has kept a consistent face. It's not, identical to Ellen, but
Yeah,
you've
no,
managed to keep a
the
character that you've
lighting.
created there that is
Yeah,
becoming identifiable.
yeah,
Yeah, and the usual suspects. Let's go on
yeah,
to the
that was
next one.
fun.
I've got to head off soon
Okay.
and drop Ruby to a homeschool thing.
Oh, yeah, this one. This one was a good one. It was my Pinto, the used car lot of religion, because the gospel that they want to sell you is just gonna blow up in your face. It's a twice cursed gospel. I mean, if you know the gospel, you know that you're free. Adventists, they're in a jail cell with the door wide open, and they're just standing there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, this one is Doug selling a lemon, and that's what the Adventists, their gospel is, a lemon. It's a dud, twice cursed. It's bad.
Yeah, twice cursed. Yeah, spirit of prophecy approved. Just ignore the history.
Sorry, Doug.
It's amazing the lengths that the Adventist apologist will go to defend
Mm-hmm.
this. And I was the same. I didn't leave till I was 54. The
Right.
lengths I went to try and make it fit and make it work.
Oh, I know. I remember the mental gymnastics.
Mm.
I do.
And the word salad.
Yeah. Oh, you get a wall of text too when
Mm.
responding to some of them. You're just like, what? How?
Yes.
He'll take you all over the Bible. You're going for a little journey.
Oh dear. Let's go to the
Okay.
next one. Well, there's so
Okay.
many little things I'm just noticing in there too. But I'm looking forward to going back to a lot of the originals of these too. Yeah, I
Oh
love
yeah,
these
I have them
Lego
all
ones. Yeah.
saved. If like I said, anybody can have any
It,
image. Just have fun.
is there
Do
one place where we can say for people to go where you're mainly
um
posting these? Because I've
yeah, I
noticed them on different
my
places
my Substack it has everything. Other
in
than
the
that, just
Substack. Yeah.
the big forums, the deception of Seventh-day Adventist, and there's all sorts.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of members. Oh my goodness gracious. Is there a lot of members?
Yeah.
I am impressed.
Yeah.
So this one was big. See, I made Mythbusters or Cult Busters the same time I made the Lego one, and the Lego one ended up being much bigger than the Cult Busters, and
Mm.
I thought the other one was more clever, but everybody liked this one
This one.
because
Yeah.
it's so true. This is how it happened, and so I'm sorry that it was a little bit controversial, but it is what it is. It's
Yeah,
true.
this is just your
And
opinion and your
yeah,
creative output, and it's
yeah,
catharsis, and it's a lighthouse warning
yeah.
how to
And
build a
it does
cult.
show how much the great controversy was revised and edited and refined and changed. It went through so many editions. I forget how many. I want to say 11. I'm not
Yeah,
sure. But it's a lot, and it's hundreds of pages. It's not, just here and there comma error.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Adventists and their commas.
I know, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, no, that's what the cults do is they revise and they rewrite, they delete, and that is why having Ellen's earliest works, the first edition copies and stuff like that is, pretty important.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. That's my opinion. And there's a lot of people that, do great work in, educating people. And it is so fun to learn about this stuff. It's
Yeah.
so interesting.
I know. I can't take my eyes off it.
hmm
People often say, "Why are you doing this? If you've left the church, why don't you just leave it alone?" It's just too interesting. It's too fascinating to take
It
your eyes off.
is.
By the way,
Yeah.
those watching, I've just put the link to your Substack in the chat as well on all the
Oh,
platforms.
okay. Oh, thank you. All right, next one.
Yes.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The lesser light, because Ellen is the lesser light in the broad daylight. It doesn't make sense, but that's what
Yeah.
they'll want to say. And that's really, really edging into really Gnostic territory when you think that you have extra light, or you have the truth and you have to rely on the spirit of prophecy to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You're in dangerous territory, and they're very boastful over this lesser light thing. But if you put Ellen up to Jesus, no contest. Come on, he's broad daylight.
Yeah.
Why do you need, and you don't. The Bible,
And then they also
pretty
say that they're
clear.
rescuing Protestantism that was
Yeah, that's what
lost
all the
in the Dark Ages. But if you were going to rescue Protestantism, wouldn't you be rescuing the atonement at the cross at the very least, being once and for all?
yeah.
But they rescued it, did they? And then turned it into a Pharisaical religion.
It is such a pharisaical
Mm.
religion. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
They're the accusers.
Yeah.
That's what that 80s hair band was. The Satan's, what was it? SDA. Oh, Satan's deceiving accusers, because they're
Yeah.
always accusing. Prove to me that you're safe. What? It's like,
Yeah.
I can tell you the gospel that I believe, and that's my assurance. But they want to say, well, I keep the Sabbath, therefore I'm safe, because
Yes. Yeah.
they can point to something, but
And you
not
can't
right.
keep the
It's
Sabbath
Tosti.
on a globe anyway. Like, it's physically
Yeah.
impossible to
And
do that.
yeah,
And then if you
it's
are going to keep it, what are you doing to keep it? And you're
yeah.
keeping it to be saved. So when Dave was saying, "Oh, we're criticizing these far distant, terrible things within
Mhm.
Adventism," seventh day is in the name of the movement. It's not a hidden, far off doctrine. And
Right.
the keeping the Sabbath is salvific. And Ellen White
Mhm.
saw it having a halo around it in the commandments. And
Yeah.
there's thousands of quotes from her that point to keeping the Sabbath as being salvific.
Mhm.
So I
Oh,
just
yeah.
don't get this whole keeping the Sabbath, and then try and pretend it's just about having a nice rest day.
Yeah.
They're fully saying you have to keep it to get to heaven. I
Mhm.
love the one where she's on the beach and she's using the flashlight in
I know
broad
a lot of
daylight.
people did.
Oh, I'm the lesser light. Can you see a bit better now? It's just funny.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well,
Yeah.
let's go to the next one.
Okay.
Reading.
Oh, yeah, these just, they were ones that I made little articles for. The one of her baking moldy bread was just, to say that a little bit of leaven, it destroys the gospel. You cannot add Ellen to the gospel, workspace or anything like
Yeah.
that. And she's known for, deleting or trying to, remove her more controversial
Yeah.
quotes,
I remember
So,
interviewing Steve Daly, and I think he said something like 39 sentences or paragraphs were taken out of some of the early writing books because
Right.
they wanted
Oh,
to hide,
she got in
some of
so
the
much
yeah,
trouble there in her
yeah,
early life, didn't she?
yeah,
And then
had to,
what was it?
yeah.
Sketches on the life of Paul, was that
Yes,
that one?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Where
Oh,
the Connie Barrenhausen fiasco. I
yeah.
love that center picture where she's going, "Oops," and she's shredding
Yeah.
all the good bits. Oops.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they do.
It was interesting
So,
leaving the church, and literally physically taking my name off the roll. There was something about that happened to me psychologically that freed me to
mm,
look at the Bible again as if I was reading new material. I just
yeah,
hadn't realized how much.
I did too.
Yeah, I just didn't realize how
But I
much had
started,
been kind of filtered through Ellen White.
yeah,
And
I
you feel
know.
deeply like you don't wanna criticize her because for some reason, like, I remember when Steve Daly, when I read the first book, the Psycho, oh,
Biography, yeah.
but yeah, um, I remember he was saying clearly that he was saying she was a fraud, not just false prophet, but fraud.
Yeah.
I had trouble, I would want to say things like, well, I think, she really believed what she was doing, and um, but she wasn't a stupid person. And at some
No.
point, if you're sitting there, even these guys that are doing independent ministries, I'm not saying they're fraudulent, but there's a moment where they go, "Oh, cool! I can go to holiday to the Bahamas for a month and charge it to the to
Yeah.
to the job because we'll do some filming there or whatever and have a nice holiday." There's some moment where they've got to go, okay, I'm not a fraud, but boy, I'm benefiting excessively from
Mm,
this. Someone
yeah.
sent me a private message just now and said, well, how much are you earning? I would be happy to reveal my earnings. I estimate maybe $50 a week, um,
Oh, man.
and I would do maybe 10 hours. So what's $50 and 10 hours? How much money am I getting an hour? Um,
Yeah.
so and I'm happy to come back with a more accurate number, but that's just that same kind of ad hominem attack.
I didn't, it's funny because, a lot of us on the forums, we're doing this because we love you. I
Mm,
pray so much for particular families, that were dear to me.
mm,
And I hate seeing them trapped like
mm,
this.
mm,
I hate it. And I
yeah,
don't want, you know, somebody else to go through the stuff that I went through or my daughter went through, any of us. We
yeah,
all have our stories. Especially if you spend some time on TikTok, you'll hear some stories. Yeah. And a lot of people are coming out too. There's a couple of big TikTokers
mm,
that I've watched, and a lot of people, they don't come out and be Christian. They come out and they're atheists,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and it's because of how much spiritual abuse goes on.
yeah,
They
100%.
give it up.
Yeah, that's what happened to me, and I had to rebuild, even to this day, a very rudiment
Yeah.
gospel understanding.
Yeah.
It tore my belief system into tatters of believing anything.
It's traumatizing.
Mm,
For
mm,
months, I just cried so much. And I was like reading or on podcasts for at least 14 hours a day because I'd
mm,
have panic attacks too. Because you're like, but Ellen, and it always come back to but Ellen. And
mm,
Sabbath was really hard too. Even after, you could kick Ellen to the curb, and that took a
mm.
while. Sabbath was really hard
Yeah,
also. So,
yeah,
but no, definitely do it because I love Adventists and others in high control religion because there's a lot of high control religion.
mm,
And after coming out of Adventism, I didn't realize just how much,
mm,
you know, there's single family cults. Those are the ones where you see them possibly having lots of children and
mm,
homeschooling and isolating them. and those are dangerous. And the fundamental Mormons, like there's entire Netflix documentaries on stuff like that and stuff like
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, let's get to the next one. Someone has written that you say you don't like gossiping, but you are gossiping, and just in
Oh, okay.
defense in defense of you, who Dulce Vitalina, this is not gossip. This is fully right in front of you, available source material. You're the one speculating. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't understand that.
So, Christian confidently awaits meeting the Lord Jesus Christ, filled with hope, joy, and surrounded by a loving family.
Yeah.
The Bible gives assurance, and then you've listed a bunch of the assurance-giving texts. But the
Right.
Sadventists are lonely, scared, and depressed. The Sadventist is wondering if their investigative judgment book has been rejected. If they've been rejected, are you sure you kept? Are you sure you kept every Sabbath? And
Yeah.
it is just a fact that the like one of the things people love about Des Ford, and if you look at his message in context with his time period, some people say he didn't go far enough. That's not the point. The point is,
Yeah.
at that time, he brought in an incredible amount of assurance of salvation. And so all these, that's not my Adventism, have got him and Ray Cottrell and a bunch of others to thank for that assurance, because Adventism, that Sadventist image side of it where Ellen White warns against assurance, you've listed
Yeah.
4 very clear texts. I just can't quite read them, but I've read them before when I've seen this one. They're very clearly pointing to undermining assurance.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone, and those who want to defend Adventism and say it's not my Adventism can only point to Des Ford for incredibly drawing a line in the sand and saying, no, she is wrong about that. We need to jettison the investigative judgment. It is unbiblical. And what happened to him? He gets kicked out because he said that.
Yeah.
So they're defending a church that is demonstrably not offering the assurance of salvation by
Yeah.
perpetuating her book, The Great Controversy, and many other things. She's written, I'll just read a couple because I can read it. No man can say I'm saved until he has endured test and trial, until he is shown that he can overcome temptation.
Yeah, that's that last
And those
generation
who,
theology.
yeah, exactly. And those who accept the Savior, however sincere with their conversion, should never be taught to say or to feel that they are saved. This is misleading. And she goes on with other moments like that. And to say that Christ's death on the cross was all about showing that you can live perfectly and overcome sin and temptation, and that's a requirement for you to follow, and totally remove the fact that his being a perfect lamb and sacrifice is because that's what is required for a sacrificial lamb. They are perfect. And then when they talk about the scapegoat and how Satan is the scapegoat, he doesn't even get a look in my opinion, because he does not meet the requirement of a pure lamb. Someone said, or a goat, a sacrificial being. Someone said to me, oh, but he was pure once. Okay, well, why don't they use adult sheep then? You don't go because what someone was. The sacrificial lamb is to be a perfect and pure being. That one scapegoat thing alone is enough to even say that you have to emulate Christ because he overcame sin and temptation. You must also, to get into heaven. That one thing alone should make you run from the Adventist church.
Go get daddy. Go.
Let's go to the next one.
Okay, this one's a good one because you get this a lot on the forums. They're going to say, oh, but Ellen didn't come up with 1844, or she didn't found or the Millerite movement. was responsible, but she really did put her stamp of approval
Mm.
on the visions and everything that happened back in the day. And it's just, people still call X Twitter nowadays, and that's just what the Seventh-day Adventist Church is. It is the 1844 Great Disappointment. Ellen put her stamp of approval on it. They can't get away from that.
Exactly.
And then
Yes.
they blamed it on God. It's just crazy. That's one of the things that I talked to my mom about a lot.
Yeah.
Was but she said it was true,
Yeah.
and then it didn't come true. Oh, and then they'll spiritualize it. Oh, but then it happened. No, you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
Especially if you can't base it in the Bible. And their whole system of calculating the Sabbath is just nonsense anyway. So
Yeah.
this wasn't. Sometimes people do reach out to me with their own ideas for
Oh,
an
yeah.
image.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of did a collab with somebody on this one.
Right.
Shout out to
To
Deborah
them.
David. Yeah. She was like, yeah, I think you should do something on this. And I said, perfect. I was thinking about this already,
Yeah.
like yesterday and today, and I just didn't know how to tackle it. But yeah, it has the green cord, and that green cord vision is that was one of the big ones. If you could see Academy Apologia's green cord
Yeah.
vision series, yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, that is
You
so
have to
good.
see
Yeah.
that.
I tell you what, he's someone that people
Love
should
Jim.
definitely go and see. Yeah.
Love Jim. Love
Yeah.
Angel. They're the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. Incredible.
So yeah, and so the green cord's there. The talking to her dead husband in a dream and then taking his advice. The water witching, which a little bit of witchcraft is okay.
Yeah.
Astral projection, yeah, going and seeing Enoch on Jupiter and
Yes.
whatever else is just basically astral projection. But they're putting Christianese language on the occult. Uh, Everything, you can look at what they do, and it's occult stuff. Even Happy Sabbath mantra is like, to me, I would say that's spellbinding. And there's, ritualistic day anchoring. So they're anchoring themselves to a day. And there's so much, but I mean, this is got the obelisk and the eye. They show a lot of imagery with the all-seeing eye. It's so funny to research all of them too, because they go back and forth with their own pantheon type language.
Mm-hmm.
Not just Kellogg. No, Ellen, her language too was just all over the place.
And right up until she passed away, she was supporting a lot of this stuff. People say,
Yeah,
"Oh, she changed and whatnot." Yeah, okay, but not her main theme,
right.
which was prepare yourself for heaven, get ready, and do it with human-based merit. And yes, the change perhaps was that she said it's all through Jesus, but it wasn't Jesus totally forgiving you and presenting you as a clean soul to God. It was Jesus will, if you truly rely on him, he will get you to not sin and overcome temptation. So they use
Yeah.
Jesus as he will help you overcome temptation, not as he forgives you for those temptations and presents you to God as pure. And it doesn't mean that you don't try and be a better person and there's laws that you have to follow of nature. That doesn't mean you stop trying to be that. I mean, you try really hard to you know to practice living a better life, but the relief of knowing that it's not about overcoming all that of stuff to a certain level so you can be saved. Is that one you had on the deathbed before, where so many Adventists talk about how their relatives on their passing were just so concerned.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
let's
sad.
go to the next one. I'm going to have to wrap it up in about 5
I know.
minutes. How many have we got to go?
We should be close to the end.
Yeah.
These are just ones that if I see something on the forums
Oh,
and it's, they'll post their food laws a lot. So these are just, okay, I'm not going to respond. I just want to put an image here so that people, when they come to this thread, they can see, what Ellen said about, this type of the food laws. And she really got into the food laws, down to baking soda and baking powder, which I was unaware of.
Right.
Seventh-day Adventists don't even go buy their own stuff, and they're just going to say, "Oh, present truth shifted."
Yeah.
I remember that. So yeah, there's the list of where you can find where she said not to eat those certain things, and that this it's just asceticism basically. And then Pathfinders, it's just,
sad but true.
I was a Pathfinder. I
Yeah.
love Pathfinders, but it's part of the system. It's part of the system that's making people rich up at the top and just taking your money. And the funny thing is, I notice a lot is, you do have like the Pathfinder, what counselors or whatever they're called.
Yes,
But there's only like a couple like adults, and then the children in North America are the Pathfinders. But you look on the forums in other countries, you got 80-year-old people in Pathfinder uniforms with skin and bone, and you're like, that probably could have given them a hamburger, but they're marching, they're 80-year-old, and I'm just like, you got conned.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love this Colossians 2:8 that you've got there. See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition and not according to Christ. And then you've got next to that, don't trade your child's eternity for patches and parades. Wake up, research, protect. And like you say, it's disguised as a youth club.
And it's indoctrination.
Often there's no parental, you're dropped off there, and there's these counselors and a couple of leaders, and then there's camping trips and all sorts of stuff. I loved Pathfinders, full disclosure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I had no abuse, no bad treatment at all, but there's subtle indoctrination that goes on.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of my daughters is homeschooled. The other one goes to an Adventist school. It's to do with zoning. People often push back on me for that, but I literally, legally, either she's homeschooled or has to go to a school. And I'm not complaining about the school she goes to. I'm very good friends with a lot of the teachers. They're very focused on the educational side of things. But every now and again, there'll be someone coming through for their chapel, and she will come home and ask some questions. And what I'm noticing as she's going higher up into high school instead of primary school, the challenging things that they try and brainwash her with, again, not the teachers, not the school, I'm talking about these itinerant people that they're constantly bringing through, that they are doing it more cleverly as she gets older. It's very clever. And we've had some discussions even just in this last week where I'm like, I'm a bit worried. And so, if you're a chaplain up at the school there and don't try and baptize my daughter, I will be very angry. So you just, be nice, do your programs, have some fun with the music and all that sort of stuff, but do not try and indoctrinate her into Adventism, or I will be very angry. That's a little message for you guys if you're watching. Let's go to the next one.
On and up. Okay, yeah, here's my soothsayers. These are the ones that I'll typically see being posted. They're clips on forums. And they're soothsayers. These are the men that make the most money. These are the top tier people. And they're just bewitching people with this. And so if I see a clip of one of them, I might post that on it. And somebody else had me make the Ellen White and the Lamb one. I just like that one a lot. So I'm not even sure if I've posted it anywhere yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one.
But somebody had me make this one, and I just thought it was so super cute.
Yes.
I would have that little hoodie.
I love the little tiny round the lamb as well. It's got the SDA logo.
Yeah. That's just something I do on the forums. And then let's see. Oh yeah, sometimes I won't respond to people if I know they're being mean. Like there's one person that will just like, I don't know, post verses that say she's a witch or her prayers aren't being heard or something like that. I just say, well, thank you for helping boost the algorithm of my post. And that's all they do.
Yeah.
So I just made some goofy ones and thank them for boosting my post.
You helped the algorithm. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought that one was cute.
Yeah.
I think that one was
Verily,
cool.
ye have caused this to spread abroad. Yeah, that's the truth, though, isn't it?
Yeah, they do. They get
The
so
more
bad.
upset, yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe they just keep responding. So, yeah, sometimes you have to just stop. I'm sure there's more, but these are my favorite of the ones that I'll just be like, okay, thanks, guys. And a lot of ad hominem attacks. I have one for that one too. So, yeah.
And the gospel Adventists are really good at the subtle one. Like that comment before about saying we were angry and why, just by saying, why are you putting all your energy into being angry and scornful? And then later, when I challenged him on that, I don't know if he's still watching, Dave, but later then saying, well, I'm not attacking, I'm not hurting. But that is obviously a loaded comment. It doesn't offend me or hurt me, but that is a loaded comment. Why are you guys putting so much energy into being angry and scornful about a movement you don't agree with? Like that is nuanced ad hominem 101 right there.
Yeah. And then, when you have one of these professional Facebook accounts, you can tell who's on your algorithm too, especially if they watch your reels.
Right.
So I see you people
Yes.
who stalk my Facebook and
and
it tells you who watches my reels.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see. And then there's some people that make like really horrible images of me.
Wow.
Or I've had people, it's been messy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But like, what was it, that funny image I had of Ellen White as the doll? That little meme that we had a little bit further.
Yes.
Edwin Cotto made a picture of me and posted it on the forum. I didn't take a screen pic, but my husband and I were laughing so much. So,
I love when they have an attack is to say, so I don't even read it. I just know they're attacking. Like that Volte lady just before. I didn't read what she said. I did bring it onto the screen and read it, but there was a few other things. I didn't read them. But I wrote to her, and this is full disclosure if you're still watching, I'll say things like, well, can you unpack that a bit more? I didn't quite understand what you were saying. And then they'll just spend more of their energy and time criticizing you. And then you just say again, I'm still not getting it. It's all word salad. Can you have another go? And they just keep on going, not realizing that they are the ones now entering into this revelation of what their character is like, and they're falling into the bearing false witness, which is breaking commandment 9. They're really not showing Christ's love at all. And maybe I'm being a bit cheeky by stirring them, but all in good fun.
Yeah.
Well, we might have to wrap. How many? Have you got a couple more there
I
we
think
can just
just
bring up to
one.
close on?
Let's see if it is. Yeah, it's the last one.
Oh,
There you
it's
go.
Oh,
It's
yes, I
not
remember
even
you
mine.
sending me this one. And we're both Star Trek fans, so there's a whole lot of subtle
Yeah.
underscoring.
This one is my favorite. This one, it's not even mine. I didn't make it. It's Sam Weatherby. Is that her
Right.
last name? Yeah, I was so jealous. I was laughing so hard when it
That's a
came up on my
beauty.
screen.
Yeah.
I was like, how did I not think of this?
Yes,
It's just
I
so
know.
great.
Yeah, I thought you had until I read the credit to the creator.
No.
But that line, "Resistance is futile," I truly believe that if you are a multi-generational Adventist like you were and like I was, it is very rare for you to leave the church, the Adventist church, and you, just because a certain amount of events happened in the exact right order, and I was able to leave. But I kind of see there was a small window of opportunity where I could act. There was a massive amount of resistance within myself to do it. And I just found myself, 2 or 3 things happened that if they had not happened, those 2 or 3 things, I would still be an Adventist.
Yeah,
And I
no,
would
I've
still be here
narrowed it
like
down
Dave
too.
Edgren defending the
Yeah.
church. And if people pushed back on me, I'd go, "Oh, no, I'm not criticizing you. I'm just asking questions." I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that those 2 or 3 things happened within
Me too.
a 12-month period that literally spewed me out.
Yeah.
Almost like like a beached whale.
I can't even imagine. I can't
Yeah.
imagine ever not thinking this way now, I guess. It's so different to me to think that these were the excuses that I was saying just a couple of years ago. So you know how thick the indoctrination and the brainwashing is. And you know what they're going through. Because when you have so many generations, you're like, oh, my mom got it wrong. My grandma got it wrong. And then you have to think, well, if they didn't, if they got it wrong, what happened to them?
Yeah.
And that's not a good thought.
And that's the big problem, actually, for me, and why people often go agnostic, is because you have been so tricked by it that you start saying, well, not only what else was I tricked with Ellen White, what else has tricked me with every single belief I have?
Yeah.
So Dale Ratzlaff talks about this. Well, he's passed now, but his material is incredible. Go and check out his work, those watching, if you haven't. And he points to this being the same. He says that because people are so tricked and hoodwinked, that when they finally have unraveled Adventism, they can't stop unraveling every single thing.
Yeah, no, I get that completely. Yeah.
That's
No,
why
you're just so used to being lied to.
Yeah. That's
You
why
expect to be lied to.
Yeah. That's why I 100% accept people on this channel that would be atheist to Christian, whatever. I'm not going to judge anybody's position.
No,
And
absolutely not.
I know I keep getting invited onto Adventist Defense League. They've come onto this show once, and honestly, I wouldn't even be able to. They could sit there and say this and that and prove this with that text, and I wouldn't be able to come back with a pithy argument against them. I just I don't have that ability. All I have is the ability to just have a strong sense of what is the old BS detector.
Well, you know your role in the church body.
Yeah.
And your role isn't to go on ADL.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
role is to host SDAQ&A.
yeah, yeah.
Play
I
to
mean,
your
to your
yeah,
strengths, know who you
yeah,
are. I mean, ironically, I am going to go
exactly.
on. Ironically, I am going to go on. They want me to. Um,
Really?
they want me to talk about why I think keeping the Sabbath is impossible on a globe. And I thought, well, that is something I can actually speak to quite
Yeah,
intelligently, you or articulately. It's so clear that you can't go sunset to sunset on a sphere when
yeah.
three months of the year in Norway, for example, the sun doesn't even go below the horizon. Now they'll
And if
come up with some answer to it, but that's all
yeah,
right. I'm not going to defend their answer. I'm just going to say, okay, well, that was just my opinion.
well, they say it's written on their heart, so
Mm,
internally too. But the Holy Spirit is not telling anybody today is Sabbath. If you were in a coma
mm.
for so long and nobody told you what day it was, is the Holy Spirit going to tell you which day is Sabbath?
Yeah,
No,
exactly. Yeah,
you won't
and
know what
and the
day it is.
international dateline. Look at that, and
Yeah,
why do we use Greenwich Mean Time as the starting point when
I,
Jerusalem you'd think would be the Holy Land starting point for time, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest that there actually were 13 months in a year, not
yeah,
12. When that changed, what about when the Catholics did a whole lot of adjusting to the calendar in the 400s AD? There's so many pointers that
yeah,
just show that it's impossible. And so
yeah, I
why
know.
would God create a rule that you cannot get to heaven unless you keep the Sabbath, even if
Right.
it's at a future time? Why would he do that on a planet that it can't be done?
Yeah.
And I think Ellen White pointed to, we'll move to places where I have been challenged on that, and
Yeah,
maybe she
I
did
know.
or didn't say it, but
I did too.
but
Yeah,
but I there's some
I
evidence to
get that.
suggest, yeah, like, yeah, it's a silly answer to say, well, just move where you can keep a defined sunset to sunset.
Yeah,
There's
but what
like this.
about the other worlds that are supposed to be keeping the Sabbath too? What time zone are they on? You know? I don't know. It
It's
doesn't make
just
sense.
ridiculous. Like, there is literally, imagine saying to your kids, I'm only going to love you and allow you into the house if
Yeah,
you do this impossible thing. You can't do it. That is just absolute cruelty. Like, there's
yeah,
no way. It's Adventism is so obviously a reverse engineered face saving, ideology. They
yeah,
made a mistake. They couldn't live with that. Ellen comes along, 17 at the time, when the Great Disappointment, I think. She was just a child. And it's just so
yeah,
ridiculous. And yet we were fully into it.
yeah. I
I would
know.
I would plan, I'd have a little bag full of baked beans that I could take away when I ran to the hills. I know
Oh,
I
yeah.
know I know people in New Zealand, because there's some really remote areas in New Zealand that you can kind of live and hide away, that
Uh-huh.
bought acres and acres of land and only recently sold it because they're in their late 70s and 80s now. But they would take their kids up there. This was a place they were going to live off in the time of trouble. And they
Yeah.
bought this. I'm talking about, they bought it in the 70s,
No.
and only just recently sold it, because
Wow.
it just permeates the fear. We're going to run to the hills. What if
Yeah.
my sister tells on me and I go to jail? Will I be strong enough to resist the guns pointed at me? Will I stand
Yeah.
up for Jesus? And then to have Ted
Yeah.
Wilson say, yeah, you have to, or you might not get to heaven. You have to possibly give up your life.
Yeah.
Oh, we've only explored the distant reaches of the dark side of Adventism. Rubbish. They're full. Your memes point to the right under your nose source
Yeah.
material of Adventism that is
Mhm.
absolutely dangerous for children.
Yeah. Oh,
Sure,
very much.
go and be a selfish little gospel Adventist baby boomer in your local church and have a nice time with your happy Sabbaths and your potluck lunch. But what about the kids who are suddenly having nightmares because they're not sure if the Sunday law's coming in or not? Oh, we don't teach
I
that.
know.
Okay, you don't teach it.
You do.
But look all around you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, dear.
I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. It's sad, but what are you gonna do? They choose this. So, like I
Yeah.
said, the prison doors open.
Yeah.
They're free. Jesus paid the price. It's finished. East, west.
It's,
You know,
it's so much
he's not
more of a
getting back up.
relief.
It
Oh, I
is.
love it. Yeah. Hey, I've loved our conversation today, Barb, as you can tell.
Thank you
Always
again.
enjoy it. Well, let's get you back again in a few months and
Oh,
we can talk
yes, of
about another
course.
topic.
Yeah.
Just a couple of comments here. Chanel writes,
Yeah,
Adventism
Chanel.
is so obviously a counterfeit, false institution. Barry writes here, Jupiter has a 10-hour day. So not only do you have to know what the time zone is, are these other planets also revolving around our sun? No, they're not. So you can't even put them in the same time zone to keep the Sabbath. The Sabbath keeping on the earth is so essential to the sun and the shadow that goes as we spin around. How are the other planets keeping the Sabbath? They're not going around our sun, are they? It's just so ridiculous. So I'm actually looking forward to going on the ADL for that one.
It should be interesting. Good luck with
Yeah,
that. I will send up those prayers.
They purposely
Just
like
deep
to
breath.
I've got enough of my interview with them saying some really silly stuff, and they tried to cut some of my stuff and make it look like I was being silly. They said, former Adventists totally stumped by our question, and put a clip up where I'm just pausing for a minute, but nothing to do with what they were saying I was pausing over.
I've been following Corey from...
Yes, me too. Yes, I literally...
He's doing so well.
So good. He's just sitting there going, who are these guys? And they do the exact thing to him. They bombard him with all these quotes and take clips and then and make him look like he's saying things that he's not. And I think that is so disingenuous. So I had a clip that made one of them look really stupid and got him in a real gotcha moment. And I said, well, are you happy? I said, are you happy for me to break this up and make it look like you guys are stupid? So they took down the other one.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So,
Well, you'll enjoy doing that. It'll be something. Lots of views. You'll get lots of views.
We'll finish with a couple of quotes and then I'll run. But we've got crazy stuff. I know someone who planted yams in the mountains so he had something to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. How do the astronauts experience the Sabbath from outer space?
No idea.
Peter, tell SDA's Google Earth will still find them. Oh, dear. Anyway, look, so good to chat with you. Any closing thoughts from that you'd like to wrap things up with your recent foray into creativity?
I've appreciated everybody and everybody keeping me in their prayers, and I'm coming back out, coming around. Like I said, I lost my sister-in-law last year, and that was pretty hard. So I started going to more Christian stuff and not, focus on Ellen White, because it's so depressing. It's really depressing. It takes a lot out of you. So I really had to. I follow Matt McMillan on YouTube also. He does something called Walks Talks with Matt McMillan.
Right. Oh, yes, I've seen that too.
Yeah, he's good. So I like him a lot.
So you're focusing more on the good news kind of stuff.
Yeah, I am. I don't know what compelled me to start making little daily Bible verses with my two little dogs, but they've been very adventurous here, saying good morning and good night to my followers, because that's a thing.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
they've
It's
been cute.
fun. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think they're in Hawaii tonight having a
Right.
little party. I think. I don't know. I don't remember. So, yeah, it's been fun making them. I've enjoyed it
Yeah.
so much. I can't draw to save my life, but I can do this.
Yeah.
I know there's some people that hate AI, but whatever. I see it as like the holodeck on Star
Yes,
Trek.
it's the holiday. Well, on that note, live long and prosper.
Yes, you too. Let's see if I can
See
get
ya.
the
See
Good
you, Barb.
night.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night, guys.